Who is Dewsbury-Hall? Well, hopefully by the end of this video, you should all know exactly who he is. So wasting no time, let's get straight into this and go into the player profile. Now, as you can see in front of you, Dewsbury-Hall is a 25-year-old midfielder. To be more specific, he's a CM, so not a CDM, he's not a 6, he's not really a 10, he's a bit more of an 8, right? And a short biography for you guys to get to know him a bit better. He spent his entire career at Leicester. Obviously, he's had a couple of loan spells to other clubs. One, I believe, is Luton and the other is Blackpool. I think that is it. And obviously, he's raised from the academy, so at Leicester under 17s, under 21s, them sort of things. And obviously, it's important to mention that he was in the academy when Leicester won the Premier League, watching the likes of Kante and Mahrez. Obviously, Kante came to Chelsea, and Dewsbury-Hall has mentioned that he has a similar sort of vision for himself. So off the bat, we can tell he's a hard worker for Chelsea, and he's happy to be here. Great. But look, you guys are probably wanting to get to the juicy information. What exactly does he play like? Who is this player comparison? Well, let's watch a video on what he thinks he is like.
My name is Dewsbury-Hall. I'm 25 years old and I'm a central midfielder. I'd say I'm a box-to-box midfielder, somebody that likes to attack, drive at defenders, make things happen, goals and assists hopefully, but also will give 100% for the team defensively. And yeah, someone that's just overall can contribute in every aspect of the game.
So analysing what he's saying he's basically a versatile player, a hard worker. He plays defensively well and offensively well. That's how he rates himself. And I think that is why Maresca likes him a lot. Obviously, he's very, very adjusted to Maresca's system, and I think that's why he's been brought in. Now, let's have a look at his performances this season at Leicester in the Championship. Let's see how he fared, and obviously how I think he's going to translate his game into the Premier League. So Dewsbury-Hall for Leicester this season has 12 goals and 14 assists, which is absolutely amazing. However, we must not forget this is Championship stats. You're playing the likes of Blackpool and obviously teams that aren't as competent as the Premier League. The Premier League is a whole different game, and I do think that even if Dewsbury-Hall starts every single game this season, 38 games, I think you're looking at maybe 6 goals, 6 assists, or 4 goals, 6 assists, something like that. I do not see him hitting double figures in any stat line, of course. I mean, hitting double figures in any stat line is obviously a great thing to do. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson done that, but obviously he's a striker. As a midfielder, getting double digits in anything is very impressive. Now, with that being said, I don't think he will start every game of the season. I think he'll probably start about 18 games, be benched in about 10 games. I do think Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo will be the starting midfielders with maybe Palmer ahead of them. But look, let's hope for the sake of me and all Chelsea fans that Dewsbury-Hall is an exceptional talent and he performs exceptionally well. That, my friend, would be a dream. Now, in front of you, you should be seeing a graph which shows Dewsbury-Hall and Bruno Fernandes' advanced stats this season. The light blue being Dewsbury-Hall and the green being Fernandes. But look, before we make any assumptions, right, consider that Fernandes is playing in the Premier League and doing these against top teams, and obviously Dewsbury-Hall is doing these against poorer teams. Now, with that in mind, let's get into it. Now, as you can see, Dewsbury-Hall is outperforming Fernandes in goals and assists. Now, the goals are pretty similar, but the assists, you can see Dewsbury-Hall is significantly ahead. Now, again, it's Championship stats. I'm not suggesting anything here, but I am saying Dewsbury-Hall is basically the Bruno Fernandes of the Championship. Now, obviously, to the Premier League, he won't be doing anything similar. However, I do think that these stats do matter and show us that obviously Dewsbury-Hall is a fantastic player, and obviously in the Premier League, if he can translate his half of his game even, then that is about 6 goals and 8 assists or something, and that's very, very good. Now, obviously, you can see that they have the same amount of expected goals, so Dewsbury-Hall has been overperforming, and assists as well. Dewsbury-Hall has been overperforming, and obviously that means that Bruno Fernandes has been being sold by his teammates, but obviously it's United, innit? So what can you say? Successful dribbles, you can see that Dewsbury-Hall gets past his man way more than Fernandes. So he's more aggressive than Fernandes, is all we can take from this. He obviously has more key passes. Again, that goes down in the Premier League. And Jules 1, you can see Fernandes is actually higher. And Dewsbury-Hall himself says that he's good defensively. So we take that with a bit of pinch of salt. Obviously, as you can see here, he's got about 1 Jules 1 per game. And obviously, that's in the Championship. So when he comes to the Premier League, you wouldn't really rate him to have that higher. If anything, it should be going down. So I'm not too happy about that. I'm a bit worried, actually. But what can you do? Now, in my humble opinion, I think Dewsbury-Hall for the future will be mostly a rotational piece. He'll be one of the older players, obviously, in the dressing room. He can hopefully assert some leadership in the team. Obviously, give some direction to the team. That would be wonderful. And obviously, again, he's not that old himself. He's only 25. It's very young, actually, you know what I mean, for a midfielder. And obviously, if he can progress and obviously do what he's done in the Championship, translate 75% of that game into the Premier League, then you're looking at 8 goals, 8 assists or something by a midfielder. And that's really impressive. And I think Dewsbury-Hall can have a very, very successful career in the Premier League. However, like I said, like I'm going to say 100 more times, translating his game will be difficult. And it's up to him to improve. And obviously, Chelsea will help him develop. And we hope and hope and hope that he becomes a fantastic player that can obviously come off our bench or even perhaps start if Enzo or Caicedo are underperforming. I don't think that he's going to play in the upper roles, obviously, where you're going to see probably Palmer and Nkunku play. Obviously, I don't think he's that sort of player, and I do not think he will be benching Palmer or Nkunku. And yeah, obviously, again, Enzo gets injured, Lavia, Caicedo. We need players, and Dewsbury-Hall can fit that role. So I think he's going to be fantastic for Chelsea. A bit when I first heard his name, I was a bit obviously like, who the hell is this guy? But looking at his stats, I was very surprised. And again, stats don't mean anything, but they are an indication of something. And I've been indicated that he's a good player. And yeah, I mean, what more can I say? In conclusion, I do believe that he will be successful. I think the £30 price tag is going to be worth it by the end of maybe not the season, but by the end of next season, perhaps. I think he will be proving his worth, and I think potentially even if we do decide to move him on, I think we could make profit off of it, which is always a positive, right? So Enzo Maresca, I'll give you this. This is probably one of your best players, and yeah. Let's see how well we can do under you. And I hope Chelsea can finish top 3. So I'll see you guys next week. Please like, subscribe, let me know in the comments how the video was. And if there's any other player that you want to know about, drop him in the comments. I will do that for you. Goodbye.